Hear me out. Don't waste so much money on overkill camera gears. If you're a hobbyist photographer and you're looking for a decent but affordable portrait lens, the TTArtisan 75mm f2 is a very compelling option. I mean, for just $199, you'll get a relatively lightweight and compact lens made out of metal that can produce outstanding images like this. It's not perfect, but everything it has to offer more than compensate for its imperfections. And I'm glad that I didn't pull the trigger on a much more expensive portrait lens, because this is substantially enough for a dad that just simply wants to capture precious family moments. With that said, let me share with you the rest of my thoughts. Let's get into it. As always, honest disclaimer, this video is not paid, but TTArtisan provided us a review sample for me to share with you my straightforward and honest thoughts. They will not see this video or my script prior to release. Now, let's start with its design and construction. TTArtisan is well known for creating durable lenses made mostly out of metal, especially from their line of super affordable manual lenses. And the TTArtisan 75mm f2 isn't an exception. It shares the same design and construction the brand is known for, with a lens made with metal while still being relatively lightweight and compact at 327 grams. It definitely gives you a little bit of that premium feel, or at the very least, it veers away from feeling cheap. It does have a physical clicked aperture ring, which is definitely appreciated, and a substantial and smooth focusing ring. However, it doesn't have any customizable switch or button. I wish it had a declick switch at the very least for silent and seamless aperture adjustment using the aperture ring. But again, this is just a $199 lens, so that's fairly understandable in my honest opinion. Also, the click notches are quite weak and easy to adjust accidentally, so you have to be mindful about that. Here's a quick sound test so that you can have a better idea. By the way, it comes with a low-profile square lens hood made out of plastic and features a 62mm filter thread in front and a metal lens mount at the back. However, it doesn't have any rubber gasket for weather sealing. In terms of firmware updates, the bottom lens cap has an integrated USB Type-C port for that. Now, moving on to performance, it features a LED screw stepper motor, and I would say the autofocus performance is substantially fast, silent, and for the most part, accurate. Sometimes it hunts and lags a little bit, but not too dramatic. The speed and accuracy are just enough for my needs, especially when partnered with my Sony a7C II. Its minimum focus distance, by the way, is 0.75 meters, so make sure you're close to that range to minimize focus hunting. Speaking of that, it supports autofocus subject detection, and as you can tell, it works quite well with eye autofocus, even with eyeglasses. And it also works with basically all AF modes on my Sony a7C II, including animal and bird eye detection. It does have a noticeable focus breathing though, so that is something that you need to consider if that's important to you. Here's a quick sound test for the autofocus motor so that you can have an idea of how quiet it is. However, as expected for its price and how compact and lightweight it is, it doesn't have optical image stabilization. Now, in terms of optical quality, I would say for how affordable it is, it's pretty decent, and again, more than sufficient for my needs as a hobbyist photographer dad. It features 10 elements in 7 groups with 1 extra low dispersion element and 4 high index elements. Now, before we take a look at more real-world sample photos, let's take a quick look at the test chart results so that you can have a better understanding of the character of this lens. In terms of sharpness at wide open f2.0, the center sharpness is pretty decent, but the corner sharpness is noticeably soft. At f2.8, the center contrast and sharpness improved quite a bit, and at f3.5, corner sharpness is noticeably better now. But the sweet spot, I believe, is at f5.6, especially for corner sharpness. At f8 to f10, everything is essentially tack sharp. Even at f11 actually, it is still pretty sharp. But at f16, as expected, it's soft again due to diffraction. Now, here's a quick look at center sharpness across all notable aperture settings, and as you can tell, without pixel peeping, you can barely tell any significant difference, right? As for distortion, we have a bit of pincushion distortion here, and at f2.0, we also have a noticeable amount of vignetting. It gets better at f2.8 and becomes uniform already at f4.0. Again, as you can tell, the sweet spot is at f5.6 and the image looks significantly brighter as well. By the way, I'm happy to report that longitudinal chromatic aberration is pretty much non-existent or minimal if there's any. As for bokeh, it produces fairly circular bokeh balls at the center with noticeable cat eyes around the corners. Lastly, in terms of lens flare, it is one of its compromises, with a noticeable amount of lens flare at any given angle. As you can tell, the rounded rings are quite apparent, but overall, given its price, I'm super satisfied with its optical quality, as you'll see in the sample photos. Although its maximum aperture is only at f2.0 and the focal length is shorter than usual for a portrait lens at 75mm, it can still produce some pleasing background separation whether it is for headshots, half-body shots, or full-body shots. The bokeh might be busier than more expensive lenses, but definitely not obnoxious. What's important for me is that chromatic aberrations are well controlled, and for the most part, the images are quite sharp. Definitely substantial for a more natural looking portrait. I mean, not everyone likes stock sharp portraits, right? And at the end of the day, I'm happy that I'm able to capture candid moments with my little boy with pretty good accuracy. And for me, that's good enough, and I don't have to spend $300 to $500 and more. And there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Huge thanks to TTArtisan for sending this in. You can get this on TTArtisan's official website for international viewers, or use the automated product links for local dealers via Shopee, all in the description. Now, if you're looking for a decent lightweight and compact retro flash, make sure to watch my review of the Viltrox Vintage Z1 by clicking this. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you appreciate this video, and see you next time. Have a great day, guys. You're awesome.